Hey guys, welcome to our channel Splendid Light and our program The Joy of Walking with the Lord. Today we are going to see John 10:10, a verse that is well known to all of us, a verse that is near and dear to our hearts. So let's see what John 10:10 has to say. Here Jesus is saying that He came that we might have life and have life in all its fullness. Now, where can we go to understand what this fullness of life means? We need to ask that from Jesus Himself. Only He can reveal to us what He truly meant when He said fullness of life. A much general answer to that question would be living to the fullest in every area of our lives. Let's take marriage for example. What does fullness mean in the area of marriage? Fullness in marriage means you and your spouse together are walking with the Lord, exploring new horizons in Him, breaking down boundaries and bringing down the kingdom of heaven on earth. Fullness in marriage means you have a person to trust and work along with in whatever God has called you to do. That is our destination in marriage. It is not just having 2 children and 4 grandchildren and then earning enough to have a 4 BHK so that we could accommodate the entire family in one home. That is not. Fullness in life is when we know that all authority in heaven, on earth, has been given to Jesus Christ, and Jesus has given that authority to you. Fullness in life is knowing that all authority is under my hand. All authority on earth, the winds, the oceans, the earth, every living creature, and every situation I face is under my authority. And I cannot operate this authority without God. I need the God who gave me this authority to instruct me on where I need to use this authority, when I need to use this authority, and how I need to use this authority. I cannot leave God out of the situation and just use the authority that I have. Because most of the times we are operating with what we know about God while we should actually be operating with God. Because the challenge that you are facing today is not the same as yesterday. And just because you won a battle yesterday, it doesn't mean that you know how to win your battle today. Because every new level you step into God, it's a completely new terrain. The battle is new. The strategy is new. And you need the God who stepped you into this level to help you navigate through this level and come out victorious. You think you know what you're facing today because you heard a message yesterday on a similar subject, or you have read a story in the Bible that corresponds exactly to your situation and you assume your solution, while God might actually want you to take a completely new approach because He is the only one who knows every detail of your challenge. He is the only one who has this complete big picture of what you are facing today, and He is the only one who can direct you through it. Many times we assume how we should deal with our situations and we think we have had a victory in God, while in fact we should have actually lost it for God, and God should have wanted us to deal with it differently. You think you know what's staring you in the eye. You think you have heard many messages about such situations. You think you know every story in the Bible. You think you know every verse in the Bible. But you need God to direct you on which message and which verse you need to apply to your specific situation. Most of the times we are operating with our limited knowledge of the Bible. We are operating with our limited knowledge of what we know about God, while we should be operating with God, not with what we think we know about Him. There's a difference between the two. The danger of operating with our knowledge of God is that we are open only to what we know about God, and we are close to what we don't know about Him. And therefore we limit God to our understanding, and we limit Him to what He can do in our lives. While when we are operating with God, we are open to His vast infiniteness. We are open to the vast possibilities in God and all the amazing things that He can do through us and in us. Most of the times we are operating with our limited knowledge of what we know about God. It's like when we're calculating inside our own minds. Oh, maybe this is what I should do. Maybe the Bible says this over here. Oh, maybe I heard that message that day. That is what I should do. Oh, maybe I should do this. And we are always calculating inside our own little minds with our own limited knowledge of what we know about God and what He is able to do. While what we should actually do is clear our minds and seek God and learn from Him what needs to be done for our situation. Every message we hear in the church is to help us reach out to God and seek Him more, and not to eliminate Him. Nothing that we calculate within our own minds reflects God and His ways. And don't think just because you're calculating Bible verses and church messages in your mind, you are including God in your situation. Instead of sitting with God and understanding what should be done, we exclude God from our hearts and our minds, and we hold on to our meager knowledge of what we know about Him and how He solves situations. And we try to become learned men of Christianity. We know every sermon that has ever been preached on Abraham, Joseph, and David. But do we know God? Isn't this what the Pharisees and the Sadducees did? Instead of allowing God to work in them and through them, they became learned men of God's laws and held their knowledge supreme. Or to be even more precise, they held their assumption of God's laws supreme. They spoke about God but did not know God. They taught about God but did not love God. Your purpose is not to hear message after message about God. Your purpose is to actually start walking with God. It is only when we seek God every day, have a relationship with Him, and include Him in everything in our lives, we will actually start living every day right. Most people might disagree with me on this point. They might say, not all can have a close relationship with God. That's why we have pastors and prophets to lead regular people to God. So people need to hear from them and deal with their situations. Well, I would say that's the devil talking. Because the very purpose of every regular man and regular woman's creation is so that we can have a relationship with God and commune with Him. Your purpose of creation is not to become a business tycoon or a great evangelist or a doctor. Your purpose of creation is so that you can share a relationship with God and be one with Him. That is your ultimate purpose. When you design something, you design it to meet the specific needs that creation has to meet. Similarly, man was designed to meet God's need for fellowship. Without that, man can do nothing. Man can accomplish nothing. There's no meaning to his creation. Man needs God to live his life. Man cannot operate away from God. Don't let anybody fool you when they say, it's okay if you don't have a real relationship with God. Your pastor is doing that for you. Every man and woman has been specifically designed and given the privilege of walking with God every day. And it is only when we start walking with God, we truly start living our lives to the fullest. And that is what Jesus came to give us back. Jesus gave us back the relationship that Adam and Eve shared with God in the Garden of Eden, walking with the Lord in the cool of the day. It is that close and intimate relationship they had with God that got cut off when they sinned. And when Jesus died on the cross, the veil that hides the Holy of Holies in God's temple got cut into two, signifying that there is nothing hindering man from entering into God's presence anymore. That is what Jesus shed his blood for. He came that we might have life in all its fullness, not just so we could just get to heaven. If we are aiming only for heaven, then we are wasting away all the precious blood he shed for us. We are belittling his act on the cross and wasting away all the authority at hand. When you walk with God every day and see the vastness of his mind, you will be in awe of how good a God he is, the great plans he has for you, and all the good things he has in store for you. And you will be in awe of how little your mind is. He will wow you every day, the things that he will show you, the ways that he will answer you, the things that he will reveal about himself. You will be amazed. The ways in which he will guide you, the ways he will show you where you are right and where you are wrong, and the ways he will mold you. There will be times when you will not want God to change you in a certain area, and you might argue with him, God, I have changed so much for you. You know what? Just let this be. It's just a small thing. I don't mind this. It's okay. Please don't change me here. Man, you're arguing with the wrong person, because he will change you. He will work in you in that area and in every other area. And when he is done with you, you will be amazed at what he has made out of you. The attitude that he has shifted, the heart that he has humbled, the mind that he has renewed, you will be amazed at yourself. We waste our minds thinking about meaningless things, worrying about things that mean nothing. Such a waste of our minds and our time. And it is when God shows up and shows us what he has in store for us, we will know how little our minds are and how low our thoughts are. We go through our Christian lives worrying about what we should do in every single area of our lives. We wonder, what should I do with my heart? What should I do in my business? How should I go about my marriage? While the truth is, if we focus on this one prime area of knowing God more and more, then that will result in every other area aligning itself perfectly. If we do good in this one area, then that will result in our life getting ordered well. Because the more we know him, the more he will reveal to us his purposes and his plans for every area of our lives. Hey guys, I hope our message today has struck a chord in your hearts and has got you all thinking. Do share this message around with all your friends and your family. To know more and more about God, do subscribe to our channel Splendid Light. Have a good day. Take care.